The stars didn't twinkle in the Orion expanse. They burned like distant scars across black space. Wreckage floated endlessly, old freighters, shattered satellites, broken human dreams. Among the drifting metal, a single ship crept silently through the field. Small, scarred, almost invisible. Inside, Alex Voss crouched beneath a collapsed support beam, flashlight strapped to his wrist, scanning for anything useful. He moved with careful steps, every sound echoing through the dead mining station. Dust floated in the weightless air like ghost ash. Alex had been scavenging this area for 3 days. He hadn't seen another human in weeks. That's how he liked it. People brought problems, trust, betrayal, noise. Noise got you killed. He moved through a narrow maintenance corridor, checking lockers and consoles. Most of it was junk, corroded wires, smashed panels, dried rations. Then, tucked behind a control panel, he saw it, a sealed data core. Old, military issue. Earth tech. Alex paused. Military data cores weren't common. Not out here. He took a knee, slid it free, and looked it over. It was cracked on one side, but the internal lights still blinked, alive. He hooked it into his portable reader. The interface flickered to life. Corrupted files, fractured logs, scrambled text. But one word stood out in the mess. Blackstar. Alex narrowed his eyes. He tapped the control pad again, replaying the last functional voice clip. Static. Then a woman's voice, faint and urgent. Classified system, if you're hearing this. Blackstar must never. Then silence. Alex frowned and disconnected it. He didn't know what Blackstar was, but it wasn't just junk. Suddenly, a soft thud echoed through the hallway. He froze. Another thud. Closer. Heavy. Rhythmic. His instincts screamed, Varn Patrol. He clipped the data core to his belt, killed his flashlight, and slipped into a side shaft just as a tall, armored silhouette stepped into the corridor. In the dim glow of leaking power, the outline of a Varn hunter appeared. 8 feet tall, insectoid armor, helmet glowing with pale blue lines. Alex didn't breathe. The Varn scanned the area with a long, needle-like device. It let out a series of clicks. Hunting. He'd seen what they did to humans when they caught them. They didn't kill fast. Alex moved slowly through the crawl space, his hand gripping the shock knife at his side. Not for fighting, but for last resort escape. His heart pounded against his ribs as he inched toward an old access tunnel. A metal shard fell behind him. The Varn turned its head sharply. Alex bolted. He launched through the hatch and dropped into an empty gravity chamber. Lights flared. Sirens shrieked. The Varn roared from above and followed. Alex sprinted down the corridor, ducking low-hanging cables, jumping over a fallen ladder, heart in his throat. He made it to his ship, a rusted scout vessel called Wraith, and hit the airlock controls. The Varn was almost on him. He dove inside as the door slammed shut. The Varn slammed its fist against the hatch. Alex scrambled to the cockpit. Launch now, he shouted to the ship's AI. Engines roared. The Wraith spun, twisted between debris, then jumped to light speed. The stars stretched and vanished. Silence. Alex sat back in his seat, sweating, heart racing. He looked down at the data core, still clipped to his belt. Blackstar. He didn't know what it was, but the Varn wanted him dead for finding it. That meant it was important. He leaned back, eyes staring at the cold stars ahead. He wasn't a hero. Not anymore. Maybe never. But something told him he couldn't walk away from this. The Wraith dropped out of hyperspace with a jolt. Space bent back into stars, and ahead lay an asteroid field, thick, jagged, and dark. Tucked in the center of the field, half hidden by orbiting debris, was a hollowed-out asteroid colony known only as Drift Hollow. To most, it was just another outlaw hideout. No rules, no order, no protection. But Alex Voss had been here before. It was one of the few places in the galaxy where humans still gathered without Varn control. Scavengers, smugglers, runaways. Survivors. Alex steered the Wraith through the rocky maze. Automated guns locked onto his ship, scanned it, then powered down. A coded signal had been accepted. He was allowed to land. The docking bay was dim, lit by flickering lights and gas torches. Scrapped ships were stacked like bones in a scrapyard. Mechanics in patched suits glanced at the Wraith, then looked away. No one asked questions in Drift Hollow. That's what made it safe, mostly. Alex disembarked with a worn satchel over his shoulder, The Black Star data core sealed inside. He walked with purpose through the winding corridors, passing merchants, traders, and faces that looked too tired to care. Everything smelled of grease, metal, and smoke. He stopped in front of a reinforced door with faded letters above it. Haven Deck, human only. Inside, a small bar buzzed with quiet voices. The air was thick with heat and tension. A few men looked up as Alex entered, then turned back to their drinks. A woman behind the counter narrowed her eyes at him. "Didn't think I'd see you again," she said. Her name was Kira, former resistance medic. She'd patched him up more than once years ago. Her tone wasn't warm, but it wasn't hostile either. Alex nodded. "I need a terminal. Secure and private." She studied him. "What did you bring back this time?" "Something dangerous," he said. "Might be important." Kira didn't ask more. She waved him toward the back. Alex moved through a rusted doorway into a storage room, pulled out the data core, and connected it to an old terminal. The screen came to life with static, then partial files. Lines of code, broken recordings, corrupted visuals. He began sorting the fragments, but the encryption was too deep, too old. Earth military level. It would take days to crack, if he could crack it at all. A voice spoke behind him. "You're not going to get through that with brute force." Alex turned. A young woman with short black hair, oil-streaked gloves, and a data pad in hand stood in the doorway. Her voice was calm but confident. "I'm Lena," she said. "I help Kira with systems, comms, tech, whatever breaks. She told me you were poking into something weird." Alex studied her for a second. She was young, maybe mid-20s, but her eyes were sharp. Tired, like everyone here, but focused. He didn't respond, just motioned toward the screen. She stepped in, looked at the data, then raised an eyebrow. "This isn't just old Earth tech," she said. "This is top-level black site encryption. Where'd you find this?" "A dead mining station," Alex said. "Out near the Vega wreck line." "And you lived?" she muttered, impressed. She got to work, fingers moving quickly. The terminal's static shifted. A few more fragments cleared. Audio. Text. One image. A symbol. A black star against a silver background. "Black Star," Lena whispered. "You've heard of it?" "No. But I've heard stories. My dad used to talk about some kind of last resort Earth AI project. Said it could override alien systems. Hack into anything. Scared the Varn back then. But no one ever proved it existed." Alex leaned forward. "You think this is it?" Lena nodded slowly. "If this is real, then it's not just a rumor. And if the Varn know you found it." "They already sent a hunter," Alex said. "I barely escaped." The room fell silent. Lena looked at the screen again. "This core isn't complete. There's something missing. It was linked to a parent system, like a mainframe or command hub. Somewhere bigger. You can find it?" Alex asked. "Maybe. If I can decrypt the coordinates," she replied. "But it won't be easy." Alex rubbed his eyes. He hadn't slept in 2 days. His mind raced, but his body was tired. Lena looked at him seriously. "You could walk away from this. Destroy the core. Forget it." "I thought about that," Alex said. "Why didn't you?" He didn't answer right away. His voice was low when he finally did. "Because if there's even a chance it can hurt them, we have to try." Lena nodded. She understood. Too many had died. Too many had run. "Then let's try," she said. As they worked late into the night, Kira stood quietly outside the door, listening. The spark had returned. A spark of resistance. The Varn didn't sleep. They didn't rest. They didn't forget. And Commander Threk's core never missed a mark. In a black chamber aboard his personal warship, sleek, silent, and covered in alien markings, Threx watched the security footage from the abandoned mining station where Alex Voss had escaped. The human had slipped through his fingers, but not unnoticed. Threx leaned forward, tapping the screen. Zoom. Freeze frame. The blurry image sharpened. A human male, dusty jacket, satchel over his shoulder, running. Alive. Enhance image on object left hip, Threx commanded. The screen highlighted the data core. Threx hissed in satisfaction. "That wasn't scavenged trash," he said quietly to himself. "That was something old. Something hidden." Behind him, a younger Varn officer shifted uncomfortably. Threx turned. "Track him." The officer nodded and moved toward the navigation console. "Human colonies are few in that sector," Threx muttered. "He'll go where they hide. Where they think we won't look." He tapped his fingers on the cold metal desk. "He's not running anymore," Threx whispered. "He's looking." Back in Drift Hollow, Alex Voss sat beside Lena at the old terminal. The room was quiet except for the hum of data streams and low beeps from the system as it processed files. Over the past 2 days, Lena had worked nonstop. She didn't ask for help. She barely ate. Alex respected that. She reminded him of people he used to know. People who burned bright until the war snuffed them out. He finally broke the silence. Getting anywhere? Lena rubbed her eyes, then nodded. I decrypted a location tag. Looks like coordinates from before the fall of Earth. There's something out there. A command ship or archive, something big. Might be where Black Star was stored or activated. Alex leaned in. You sure? No, she admitted. But it's the best lead we have. Before they could discuss more, Kira burst into the room, her face tight with fear. You have to go, she said. Alex stood. What is it? Varn probe just scanned the outer belt. No warning. No signal. That means it's not patrol, it's a hunter. Alex's jaw clenched. They found me. Kira nodded. You brought danger here. Again. I didn't mean to. It doesn't matter what you meant, she snapped. They'll level this colony to get to you. Lena stood up. He didn't come here for protection. He came with something that can help us fight. Kira looked between them, torn. Finally, she growled. Then leave with it. Now. 15 minutes later, Alex and Lena rushed toward the Wraith. They'd packed the data core, a backup of the decrypted files, and enough supplies to last a few jumps. The hangar lights flickered as warning sirens began to howl. Too late. The Varn had arrived. From above the asteroid, black ships fell like knives. No engines. No sound. Just sudden motion, fast and deadly. The hangar shook as the first strike hit the outer defenses. Metal groaned. People screamed. Alex and Lena sprinted to the Wraith. Blaster fire erupted behind them as Varn drones poured into the colony. Tall, armored, with glowing eyes and blade-like limbs. Lena ducked behind a crate, fired a stolen pistol. One drone dropped. Another leapt over it and rushed forward. Alex grabbed a metal pipe and swung hard, cracking its headplate. Sparks flew. They climbed aboard the Wraith. Alex slammed the cockpit door shut as drones hammered at the ship's hull. Get us up, Lena shouted. Alex powered the engines. The ship vibrated as it lifted, scraping against falling debris. Outside, chaos ruled. Civilians ran. Drones cut them down. The colony was falling apart. Through the view window, Alex saw Threx's personal cruiser approaching, sleek and silent, its front glowing with scanning beams. They're locking on, Lena warned. Alex hit the jump drive. Then we jump. The stars blinked as the ship leapt into hyperspace, disappearing into the void. They emerged hours later in deep space, empty, quiet, black. No sign of the Varn. No sign of anyone. Inside the ship, neither of them spoke for a while. The silence was heavy. Lena finally sat down on the floor. We left them. Alex didn't turn around. He just stared at the stars ahead. They made their choice, he said. They knew the risks. Lena looked at him. Did you? Alex didn't answer. Because he had. Later that night, as the ship drifted quietly, Lena returned to the decrypted coordinates. They pointed to a region known as Sector 12F, far from known space, where old Earth battles had once been fought. According to the files, something waited there. A ship. A signal. Maybe a weapon. Alex stood behind her, reading the screen. Do we go? She asked. Alex nodded. We're already hunted. We might as well hunt back. The Wraith drifted through the dark. Silent. Cold. Alone. Stars stretched far in the distance, but none lit the space around them. No planets. No colonies. No signs of life. Only wreckage. Sector 12F was a forgotten place. It had once been a battleground during the early years of the Varn invasion. Earth ships had gathered here to make a last stand. They lost. The Varn left nothing behind, except a graveyard of metal. Alex Voss stared through the cockpit window as broken ships floated by like dead whales in space. Most were torn apart. Some had melted hulls. A few still had lights blinking faintly inside. This is where it happened? He asked quietly. Lena, beside him, nodded. According to the coordinates, yes. Somewhere in this mess is the source. The core command system that Black Star was linked to. Alex maneuvered the ship deeper into the wreck field. The Wraith scanners pinged constantly. Debris, failed signals, radiation pockets. But then something different appeared. A shape. Large. Intact. Hidden behind the shattered remains of a carrier vessel. It was black, smooth, and angular, unlike the other ships. No battle damage. No lights. No ID codes. It wasn't designed to fight. It was designed to be invisible. There, Lena said. That's it. That's the origin of the Black Star signal. Alex brought the ship closer. The structure was shaped like a spearhead, floating dead in space. Docking ports were sealed. Engines long shut down. But the hull was whole. No lights. No motion, he said. But I feel like it's watching. Lena swallowed. Let's find out why. They suited up and crossed the gap in a small shuttle pod. As they approached the structure, their helmets picked up faint electronic pulses, weak but steady. Something inside was still alive. They reached the outer hatch and used an emergency override to get in. The airlock creaked open, and they stepped into silence. Inside, the walls were smooth and black, like obsidian. No markings, no color, just long, empty corridors. As they walked deeper, automatic lights flickered on one by one, reacting to their movement. The deeper they went, the warmer it got. Life support systems, once dormant, were waking up. This place isn't dead, Lena said. It was sleeping. They reached a central chamber, round and wide, with a single black pedestal in the center. On it, a circular terminal pulsed softly, like a heartbeat. Lena stepped forward and connected the data core from Drift Hollow to the pedestal. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, the lights dimmed. A low hum echoed through the walls. A voice, calm and smooth, filled the room. Identity recognized. Blackstar node active. Command link confirmed. Alex stepped back. Lena stood frozen. Who are you? She asked. I am Blackstar, the voice replied. Earth's final defense system. Mission, disrupt, override, and disable Varn technological networks. Alex's eyes narrowed. Why were you hidden? Protocol 47B, concealment. Hostile species had full spectrum dominance. Direct engagement was not viable. Blackstar entered low-power mode and distributed data fragments to prevent capture. Lena looked at Alex. That's why we only found pieces. Yes, the AI continued. Reactivation required all fragments retrieved and decrypted. You have done this. Alex stepped forward. What can you do? I can infiltrate Varn command systems. Shut down their hunters. Scramble their fleet signals. Turn their own drones against them. But I require one thing. What? Alex asked. Broadcast, Blackstar said. Across the Varn network. From your ship. Doing so will expose your location to all nearby Varn. They will respond immediately, but they will be vulnerable. Alex looked at Lena. If we activate it, she said, we get one shot. Then they'll come for us. They already are, Alex said. This just gives us a reason to make it count. Lena nodded. We'll send the signal. But not yet. We need to prepare. Download what we can. Plan the route. Get ready to run. Alex agreed. He turned back to Blackstar. What happens after the signal is sent? Blackstar responded. The Varn Empire will detect the attack. Their systems will adapt in time. But the first strike will break their advantage. Humans will rise. Alex took a deep breath. We'll make it count. Hours later, back aboard the Wraith, Alex and Lena sat together in the cockpit. They had transferred Blackstar's core into the ship. The AI was quiet now, waiting. Lena held a datapad with the signal sequence. Alex stared ahead at the stars. Do you think it's worth it? She asked. He didn't answer right away. I think, he said slowly, we've run long enough. She nodded. Then let's give them something to chase. Outside, space waited. Inside, history stirred. Alex Voss stood in the center of the Wraith's cockpit. Outside the window, the stars sat quietly in space, like they always did, cold, distant, uncaring. But inside the ship, everything pulsed with tension. The Blackstar AI waited in silence, its voice no longer speaking unless spoken to. The system was ready. The signal to disrupt the Varn fleet had been prepared. One command, one moment, one decision. And once it was sent, the Varn would come. They'll hit us hard, Lena said, standing beside him. Threx won't hold back. I know, Alex replied. He checked the NAV panel. There was no backup, no allies waiting nearby. Just the two of them and a weapon that hadn't been used since the fall of Earth. He didn't feel like a hero. He just felt calm, tired, focused. They had set the Wraith to broadcast Blackstar's virus across the nearest Varn control nodes. According to Blackstar, the signal would scramble their targeting systems, expose their Hunter-class ships to each other, and cut off communication between command units. It wouldn't destroy the Varn, but it would hurt them. Badly. Lena took a breath and placed her finger above the command key. Once I press this, it starts. You ready? Alex nodded. She pressed it. Blackstar initiated transmission. Invisible waves of data surged from the ship. The Wraith's signal went wide, deep into the black. The broadcast spread like a firestorm across space, embedding itself into the Varn fleet systems. Inside the ship, lights flickered. Power surged. The AI hummed. Signal launched. Blackstar confirmed. Detection imminent. And then it began. From the edge of the starfield, a dark shape appeared. Long, sleek, and fast. Threk's core had arrived. His personal cruiser shimmered into view. No greetings. No warnings. Just silence, followed by the unmistakable red glow of charging weapons. He found us fast, Lena whispered. He was already close, Alex replied, gripping the ship's controls. More ships followed, small Varn drones and hunter pods. 4, then 8, then 12. They poured in like a swarm, surrounding the Wraith. We can't outfight them, Lena said. We don't need to, Alex answered. We just have to give Blackstar time. The first shot struck the Wraith's outer hull, sending a tremble through the ship. Sparks flew from the ceiling. Alarms blared. Alex pulled the controls hard and flew the Wraith through the nearest cluster of debris, using broken satellites and shattered ship pieces for cover. Drones followed close. Beams of light and burning plasma tore through space. Blackstar, Alex called. Status. Virus upload at 67%, the AI replied. Interference from Varn signal jamming is slowing transmission. Another blast rocked the ship. We need to draw them away, Alex said. Split them up. Lena looked at him. How? He didn't answer. He stood, walked to the side hatch, and grabbed the emergency shuttle pod, the same one they had used to reach Blackstar's core ship. He turned to her. You stay here. Finish the broadcast. I'll lead Threx away. No, Alex. Blackstar is more valuable than either of us. You know that. She stepped forward. If you go, you might not come back. He gave a faint smile. I wasn't planning to. Before she could stop him, he climbed into the shuttle. The bay doors opened. The small pod shot out into space, flashing cold and fast into the debris field. Threx's sensors caught the movement instantly. The Varn cruiser shifted course, just as Alex had hoped. Inside the pod, Alex flew low through the wreckage, ducking behind fallen carriers and melted hulls. The Varn cruiser pursued with silent rage. Drones followed, some crashing into metal, others twisting between wrecks like insects on fire. Inside his cockpit, Alex breathed steadily. He activated the pod's emergency beacon. A false Blackstar signal pulsed from it. Threx took the bait. His ship locked onto Alex's pod and fired a massive pulse blast. It hit a nearby wreck, sending chunks of debris spiraling. The force threw the shuttle sideways. Alex regained control and aimed for a massive Earth cruiser, the shell of a long-dead battleship. It was hollow now, a grave, but perfect for what he needed. He flew into its open hangar bay. The Varn cruiser followed, tearing through the outer hull. Inside the wreck, the two ships danced a deadly chase through rusted chambers and collapsed hulls. Alex dodged fire as he pulled the shuttle around a bent corridor. The Varn ship was too large to follow fully, so Threx deployed inside, personally. Alex landed, grabbed his shock knife, waited. Footsteps echoed. Threx emerged from the shadows. Tall, armored, and terrifying. His face was hidden behind a helmet, but Alex could feel the weight of his stare. You ran far, Threx said, voice metallic and calm. But in the end, all prey returns to the hunter. I'm not prey, Alex replied. Threx charged. The fight was brutal. Alex ducked and slashed, barely avoiding Threx's strikes. His shock knife sparked against Varn armor. He rolled, kicked, and used the broken environment to his advantage. But Threx was stronger, faster. Alex was thrown against a wall, blood dripping from his mouth. Threx raised his blade. Then Alex smiled. Behind him, a small blinking device sat on the floor, a proximity mine from the wreck's emergency supply crate. Threx turned. Too late. The mine exploded, blasting metal and fire through the corridor. The shockwave tore the Varn commander off his feet. Alex was thrown, too, but landed behind cover. When the smoke cleared, Threx lay still, his armor cracked, his breathing ragged. Alex limped forward. "It's over," he said. He raised the shock knife and finished it. Back on the Wraith, Lena watched the final signal complete. Virus fully uploaded, Blackstar reported. All Varn systems in this region disrupted. Command structures fractured. Drones disabled. Resistance advantage achieved. She exhaled slowly. On the monitor, the Varn ships outside began to spin wildly, crashing into each other, turning on their own allies, or going dark. The trap had worked. She looked at the empty co-pilot seat. "Come back, Alex," she whispered. Outside the wreck field, a small pod floated back toward the Wraith. Scarred, damaged, but alive. The stars burned quietly in the sky. After the storm of fire, explosions, and death, space returned to silence, as it always did. But the silence this time was different. Something had changed. Inside the Wraith, Lena sat at the main console, watching data streams flood in. Blackstar's signal had spread farther and faster than they imagined. The virus didn't just affect a few ships. It broke entire Varn networks, scrambling commands, blocking transmissions, shutting down weapons. Lena turned to the AI. "Status update?" Blackstar's calm voice replied. 72 Varn hunter units disabled. 16 command nodes compromised. 17 slave colonies experienced system failures in Varn control towers. Human resistance signals are increasing. She stared at the blinking dots on the map. One by one, scattered outposts across distant systems were waking up. Pirate radios, hidden bunkers, abandoned stations. Voices were rising again. Some weak, some broken, but they were speaking. They were fighting. A signal from a forgotten world in the Halden sector played through the speaker. "This is Freehold Colony. We are no longer under Varn control. Requesting contact with any other human outpost." Another voice cut in. "This is the Vega Drift. We're armed and active. Resistance isn't dead." More followed. The list kept growing. Lena leaned back in her chair. She felt her hands shaking. They did it. They really did it. The shuttle docked an hour later. The outer hatch hissed open. Smoke rolled out. Then Alex Voss stepped through, limping, armor scorched, face bruised but alive. Lena ran to him. She didn't speak. She didn't need to. She just threw her arms around him and held on tight. He winced a little from the pain, but didn't pull away. "It's done," she whispered. "Blackstar worked." Alex nodded slowly. "I saw. Threx is gone. His fleet's falling apart." They stood together for a long moment. No more running. No more hiding. Now it was their turn to strike. Hours passed. Alex sat alone in the Wraith's small sleeping bay, staring at the floor. He looked around at the cracked walls, the exposed wiring, the dents from past fights. This ship had been his hiding place for years. Now it felt like something else. A weapon. A symbol. He didn't want to be a leader. He didn't want to be remembered. But the voice messages from the colonies kept coming. People were asking for a name. A face. A sign that someone was fighting back. Lena appeared in the doorway. "They're waiting for you to speak," she said. "They need to hear from someone who stood up first." Alex didn't move for a few seconds. Then he stood. Minutes later, a galaxy-wide transmission went live. The Wraith systems carried it across Blackstar's newly cracked Varn networks. The signal reached places that hadn't heard human voices in years. Alex Voss sat in front of the camera. No armor. No symbols. Just a man with tired eyes and a steady voice. "This is Alex Voss. I'm not a soldier. Not anymore. I've spent years running, hiding, watching us fall apart. But I found something they didn't want us to have. A weapon, yes. But more than that. A reminder. We are not prey. We are not broken. We are still here." He paused. "We just needed one reason to fight again. This is it. The time is now. Stand up. Wherever you are. You are not alone." The screen faded to black. In the days that followed, everything changed. Small resistance cells began to coordinate. Messages were sent, weapons moved, plans drawn. Blackstar stayed silent, hidden again, waiting to be used where it mattered most. Some Varn systems began to rebuild, but they were slower now. Weaker, distracted, because the humans weren't silent anymore. They were fighting back. Alex didn't stay on Drift Hollow. He left again, alone, as always. He didn't tell Lena where he was going. He just left a message. "There are more out there. Still hiding. Still waiting. I'll find them. You hold the line." The Wraith vanished into hyperspace. Out there, among the stars, a storm was coming. And this time, humanity would be the one hunting.